Welcome guys back to another video on the channel. We are back again with another video and we got another match preview, and this time it is Leicester versus Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. This is being filmed just before the West Ham Arsenal game, so I can't really give any insight in that, but we do have a very special guest, and obviously because it's a Leicester game we will have Nandez1 on the channel. Say hello.
Hello guys.
And we are going to be doing a match preview, unpredicted lineup for both teams with insights from both teams respectively. Again, this is before the league game, but again, it's Carabao Cup. You know, we're not going to be putting out a strong sides. So let's get straight into the preview. I'm going to ask Nandez to, give a little report on Leicester City, how they can face up against Arsenal. Not a predicted lineup yet, but just like a brief preview.
Well, as you all know, Leicester City have been unbeaten against Arsenal for 3 games running, so it does look like Leicester can do something in this game. Remember, I think in the end of the season, we actually did quite badly in that end of the season, but there was one team that we could actually get a goal in, and that was Arsenal. So I think, there is a lot of history between us two clubs. There's always a lot of rivalry, and bring it on.
From an Arsenal perspective, I'll say just because we lost the last 3 games, I don't think we'll lose this one as well. I think it's a cup game. Anything happen in a cup game, we've seen that many times, especially with Arsenal. We saw it in the FA Cup, in Manchester City in the semis, and Chelsea in the final. But again, it's the Carabao Cup. I'm not sure how Leicester City will be facing this in the season. Will they actually care about the cup? As an Arsenal fan, I think we should rather be focusing on the Premier League and the Europa League, and maybe even the FA Cup. So I think the Carabao Cup, even if we get knocked out by Leicester, it's not a huge deal. Just want to ask Nandez, is this a huge deal, this competition for Leicester City?
For me, it probably is, just because Leicester are one of those smaller teams. Getting a trophy is always good, but obviously there is Europa League and Premier League to look out for, and we do need to do well in that.
Yeah, I think for Leicester City, trying to get a trophy and maybe the Carabao Cup is a very good opportunity to do so. I think Nandez will agree with me on that one. And we are going to be getting straight into our predicted lineup for the team. So starting off in goal for Arsenal, I don't actually know, because we've got a bit of a goalkeeping problem. We are looking to bring in Renarson. I've reported in many of my transfer dailies. And I think Leno will be starting in this game as well. I think Leno is a player that really, he's said before in interviews that he wants to play every single game for this football club. And I do think Leno will start again in the Carabao Cup, even though he probably will play against West Ham, but I do think he'll play in this game against Leicester City also. What is Leicester's goalkeeper, Nandez?
It's going to have to be Kasper Schmeichel, Danish #1. He's always starting these games, even the cup games. And guys, overall, I do think Kasper Schmeichel has to start this one.
Now we'll be moving into the Arsenal defence, and I will be sticking with the back three. I think Mikel Arteta for now really prefers that a formation of 3-4-3, so I'll be sticking with that. And first of all, starting off in the centre-back role on the right-hand side of that defence, I'm going to be going with William Saliba. He's a player that didn't feature in the Community Shield against Liverpool. I think it's fair not playing him in that game, but again, he didn't play against Fulham. He wasn't in that matchday squad. I'm not sure what the fitness problem with him is, but I do think he should be playing in this game against Leicester City. I think it's a perfect chance to give him some experience against a Premier League well experienced Premier League side like Leicester City, and it will give him a lot of experience going forward, so hopefully he can start more Premier League games. The next centre back I'm going to be going with is Kieran Tierney on that left hand side. I do think he is a very good defender, and against some of the Leicester City attackers, I think he'll be a very smart player to be using, and I think his fitness is very good, so I think it won't be a problem playing him in that left back of the 3. I'm going to be going with Gabriel Magalhaes. Now, he had such a good debut against Fulham. He hasn't played against West Ham yet, even if he will play against West Ham. I'm not 100% sure on that as well, but I do think he needs to be playing in this game. It will give him valuable game time experience that he will benefit from a lot. So I'm going to go with Gabriel in that back 3. So my back 3 is Tierney, Gabriel and William Saliba. I think that should be our back 3 if we are going to be going on for the foreseeable future. I'm going to be asking Nandez for his back 4, as he said to me. So tell me your back 4.
For me, it's going to have to be a slightly relaxed back 4. Obviously, we do have the Burnley game just before, and that is such a big fundamental game, being in the Premier League. But in left back, I do think it is going to be the youngster Luke Thomas. He played really good in the later stages of that last season, and I do think, he has to start in that left back role. Brendan Rodgers is very keen on playing him, and he does need the game time, and having it against such a big team like Arsenal would be very good. Two centre backs now. I do think it will be a lot more relaxed. I think one centre-back is going to be Söyüncü. I think Söyüncü will make a start in this game. And then the other centre-back is probably going to be Wes Morgan. That right-back row, I do think it has to be Timothy Castagne. He's really good. He played that right-back row well. And I think overall, he will make that start. He is an Arsenal fan, which is really interesting. But I would love him to play in that right-back row. And I do think Brendan Rodgers will give him that right-back position in that game.
I'm going to be going with the four in midfield, obviously the two wing backs on either side and the two midfielders in the midfield. And on the right hand side, I'm going to go with Cedric Suarez. Now Cedric is a player that, you know, we brought in as a cover on the right hand side of the midfield as like a wing back row, and I do think Cedric Suarez is more than capable, you know, being an experienced head in a cup competition against a very good Premier League side like Leicester City. So I have no problem in putting Cedric Suarez there. He has come in for cover, so I think he will be covering in as a right wing back sort of role, and I think he's more than capable of playing, you know, as a backup in that role. And again, it's the Carabao Cup, so even if things go wrong, it's not the end of the world. On the left wing back, I'm going to go with Bukayo Saka. You know, Mikel Arteta's not been in favour with him, you know, throughout the games. You know, ever since he signed his contract, we haven't seen much of Bukayo Saka. Again, this has been recorded before the West Ham game, so he might even feature in that game, but it remains to be seen. But yeah, Nandez would agree with me. Bukayo Saka is a very good player, and I think Leicester City, you know, he could cause Leicester City a lot of problems. You know, he is a very clever player, very technical, and I think if Leicester City do go with that relaxed back four like Nandez was suggesting, I think the likes of Bukayo Saka can hurt them to a great extent. So that's why I'm going to go with Saka. Going into the midfield now, first of all, I'm going to go with Mohamed El Neni. He is a player that he's an average player, and I think for an average game in the Carabao Cup, and I think he's still a very good player. And again, this is the perfect game for him to shine and, you know, show what he's all about. Again, it's the Carabao Cup, so even if he messes up, there's no problem with that. So yeah, Mohamed El Neni in that first midfield role. And in the second one, I'm going to be going with Joe Willock. I think he's a player that provides a lot of energy, something Mohamed El Neni necessarily doesn't. And I think going forward, you know, the likes of Sabah, he's like a Sabah type of player. He goes up and down the pitch, and I think that energy will be vital against, you know, a Leicester City side that again will hurt you if you know, not good enough. But I think that's something that Willock needs to work on. You know, he's not very experienced. His decision making isn't sometimes very good, and I think that's something he needs to improve on. But still, you know, it will give him a lot of experience against a Premier League experienced side. So I have no problem in putting Joe Willock in that position. Now we'll be moving on to the Leicester City
midfield of three, and that will consist of a CDM and two centre mids. Now Leicester City normally do play with Wilfred Ndidi, and I do think he will start. Brendan Rodgers always likes to put one of those quality players in these cup games, and I think he will have to start. I think the midfield is going to be really, really good. I don't think Dennis Pratt will start in this one. I think it is going to go back to Yuri Tillemans, and then we'll see James Maddison, and a very attacking player, very, very good play in this game, and he will probably cause Arsenal quite a few problems.
Now I'll be going into Arsenal's front three now, and again, we have such a great front three, it's so hard to pick from. But first of all, on the right hand side, I'm going to go with Nicolas Pepe. Now Mikel Arteta really does prefer Willian on the right hand side, and I do believe that he would probably start in that game against West Ham. I did predict that in my West Ham prediction, so I do think Willian will be playing in that Premier League game. So I do think, you know, Nicolas Pepe is a good chance for him to burst on the scene once again and prove to Mikel Arteta that he can be playing in Arsenal's first team ahead of the likes of Willian. I think now Willian's come in, it does provide Pepe with a lot of competition, and I think hopefully that can raise Pepe's game this season so he can become a much better player, and a player that we spent that £72 million on. And I think Leicester City, it's a good team to be going up against. You know, if Nandez is correct, if they are going with Luke Thomas, I think Nicolas Pepe could really destroy Luke Thomas on that position. I really do think there's a possibility of that, and I don't think he'll sleep that night if that is the case. And I do think Nicolas Pepe would be perfect for the right hand side. Down the middle, I'm going to go with Eddie Nketiah. He's a player that I think he's a very good backup player. He did very well for the England under-21s, but I think the Carabao Cup is a perfect opportunity for him to score some goals. And again, you know, why not? You know, he's our backup striker, and I think we should be playing him in that position. In the left wing role, we are going to be going with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, his fitness is like no others in the Premier League. It's so good, and I think Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is one of the best players in the Premier League by a stretch. And I do, you know, some people may disagree with me, so leave your thoughts in the comment section down below about that. But now he has signed the Ting, and obviously this is recorded before the West Ham game. But I do think Mikel Arteta likes putting Aubameyang in every single game, because if we all end up struggling against Leicester City, then someone like Aubameyang, he needs one moment. He can be rubbish for 89 minutes, not do anything, but it's the one moments of magic that get you goals. It's something that Aubameyang gets paid for, and which is why he's now the highest paid player at Arsenal for. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, there's no introduction to him, and I'm going to be putting him in that front three. Moving on to Leicester's front three now.
Now, for me, I could be very, very wrong in my right winger, but we'll go straight onto the left wing. It has to be Harvey Barnes. Now, Harvey Barnes, I could have said Damari Gray, but I just see Harvey Barnes starting this game. He's really good. He's really pacey, and he did look very good in that West Brom game, and he probably will perform against Burnley. So I do think he has to start that game for Leicester to bring in these quality players. They need pace. and that is what Harvey Barnes brings. In that strike role, it has to be no one else but Mr. Kelechi Iheanacho. Now, I don't see Jamie Vardy starting in this one purely because of fitness, and also Iheanacho does well in these cup games. Right now, the team would look like it would really suit his gameplay. Iheanacho is really, really good, and he can cause quite a few problems, probably to Arsenal. But in that right wing, a lot of people will disagree with me, and it is going to be looking at if this deal gets done. But I have to say, who is currently on loan at Leicester now. I did confirm it. But yeah, guys, overall, it could be that Under does start this game.
Under will come in straight away, though.
I do think he will, because obviously Carabao Cup, he needs to come in and really needs to really show himself. Also, this is a cup game, so it doesn't mean the biggest kind of thing. It really does help if he actually comes in, plays in that right wing. He's already in the Carabao Cup now, and he probably will do well. Not even playing the full game. We saw Timothy Castagne coming in, playing a full game within a few days of his arrival, and I do see this happening to Under. I think the deal will be confirmed within this weekend, and I see him coming on Wednesday and playing for Leicester City.
And Nandez, please confirm that Leicester lineup once again for everyone.
So in goal, Kasper Schmeichel, left back Luke Thomas, 2 centre backs Wes Morgan and Mr. Sionchu. In that right back row, I do think it has to be Timothy Castagne, CDM, Wilfred Ndidi, 2 midfielders Tielemans and Maddison, left wing Harvey Barnes, striker Kelechi Iheanacho, and then in that right wing Under.
For Arsenal, I'm going to go with Leno, and then back 3 I went with Saliba, Gabriel Tini, and in the 4 I went with Saka, Oneni, Joe Willock, and on the right I went with Cedric, and then a front 3 for Arsenal of Aubameyang and Nketiah, and I'm going to go with Nicola Pepe. So that is it, our predictions. I think it will be a very interesting game, and I think whoever turns up, whoever has the most strongest squad, I think will win. I think Nandez would agree with me on that one. So that is it. Thank you so much for Nandez to come in on my channel. There will be a link, obviously if you click Nandez on the top of the title, then you can go straight to his channel. Let's get him to 600 subs by the end of this month or something. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.